Well, thank you guys for inviting me out to speak here today. I'm going to talk a little bit about what Turning Point USA is, because I'm sure many people here have not heard of Turning Point USA or the kind of activism we do on college campuses. So Turning Point USA was founded in 2012, largely in reaction to the Obama 2012 ground game on college campuses. I'm not sure if you guys remember that election, but on college campuses we were kind of hammered as far as activism goes and political involvement. So we developed all these programs, we developed all this activism designed to identify young conservatives who aren't involved in the political activism realm, get them organized and get them active on their college campuses and debating their peers and their professors in the classroom and on the, in their dorm rooms. We developed different literature designed to show how politics can be taught by everybody. We have things like 10 ways big government harms you. It's kind of, it uses pictures that you'd see on Facebook, funny memes, different things like that, but it also backs up with statistical analysis of how the size of the federal government grows. Talk about things, different issues like indoctrination prevention, talking about how college professors are actually using tactics to rid you of the way that you were brought up, to rid you of the mindset that you were taught as a child. Unlimited government and personal freedom is now being eroded by college brainwashing. And then this is an important book for freshmen to have. It's called How to Debate Your Teacher and Win. It talks about debate tactics that are used for college classes and how to best handle yourself. And finally, and kind of what Turning Point's all about is the idea that capitalism is ultimately a good thing, something that should be pursued for the American people. I found in my time at Turning Point USA since January that students are not as liberal as I was expecting them to be. I went on campus starting January 1st in the bitter cold, expecting to be cussed out by every college student that they were bleeding socialists. I made a point for about 4 months to ask every student I talked to if they thought that Obamacare hurt them, helped them, or if they just didn't know about it. And all these people who identified as people who are proponents of hope and change, they said they had no idea what Obamacare was going to do to them, what it was going to do to their lives. Most of them said that I'm planning on staying on my parents' health care until I'm 26. And I asked them, well, then what? What are you going to do with your art history degree when you turn 26 in a day and you won't be able to be on your parents' health care anymore? And the response was the same every time. It was a blank stare and silence. So we have this problem of children in the United States, of college students in the United States, that they're brought up, they're taught and educated that the government will take care of them from cradle to grave. And obviously everybody here knows that's not the case, but when you're only told one point of view, that's the only point of view that they would believe. That's the bad news. The good news is there's a lot of great student organizations. Young Americans for Liberty, they had 2 great speakers this talk. They were founded in 2008. Turning Point USA was founded in 2012. There's a great movement building in the United States. Our goal is to have Turning Point USA chapters on every college campus in the state of Ohio by the end of next year. That's our goal we want to have for a student organization. And those student organizations will be involved in student activism. We'll be doing a lot of things in the month of April. I was thinking on the way here, the month of April is a great month for those who love big government. They have the raise the minimum wage rallies in the beginning of April. They have tax day on April 15th. They have equal pay day. Next week is Earth Day. So if you're somebody who loves big government, this is a great month for activism for you. But it's also an opportunity for those of us who believe in limited government to kind of push back. Across the nation, Turning Point USA chapters are going to be engaging next week in a capitalism and the environment rally. We're going to talk about the #1 polluter of natural resources and consumer of natural resources in the United States. I'm sure many of you would guess who the #1 consumer is, and that's the federal government. That's kind of a shocking thing to hear. No liberal professor is going to talk about, the evil federal government consuming more natural resources than the private sector ever could. But it's the truth. We're going to talk about things like the invention of a flash drive. That one little chip that people carry around in their pocket has saved millions and millions of trees, more so than the EPA or Greenpeace ever could do in their entire existence. These are truths. These are things that college students never hear in their life. And it's important that we get this mindset out there, we get this ideal set out there, because college students, they never hear anything besides, well, if we just make sure that those who believe in limited government are suppressed and we legislate solutions to the problems that we have in our country, that all of a sudden our problems will go away. Well, we've had, over 20 years now of, individuals who believe that growing the size of government helps things. And, as far as I can tell, obviously I wasn't alive in Reagan's administration, but things haven't gone so well since then. So, it's important, and it's, I think, very positive that we have organizations like ours involved in college campuses. Like I said, we're all very young movements. So I kind of come out here today bringing you guys a message of hope. There is great organizations on college campuses, organizations like Turning Point USA, like Young Americans for Liberty, who see the narrative put out there by liberal professors, who see the narrative put out there by liberal student groups, and stand out there and say, no, this isn't true. We know it's not true, and we can prove it's not true using analysis. All of the material provided on our table and in our booklets deals with comedy and statistics. We take charts and information from organizations like Cato, like Heritage, like the Department of Labor, and we show that the narrative out there is not necessarily true. And this is not a theme that has been taught to students. So I'm hopeful for the future of the United States. I'm hopeful for the future of my generation, that with the involvement of these organizations, with the outreach that we do on a day-to-day basis. I know Young Americans for Liberty is active every day. My full-time job, 5 days a week, is to be on college campuses, talking with students, debating students, setting up chapters, helping students who consider themselves conservative, consider themselves in limited government, but have nowhere to go, have nowhere to speak out, get involved, engage their peers, and hopefully change the United States for the better. And that's what we're all about, and that's what I'm proud to do for a living. Thank you.
Yeah.